Yes. Oh, yeah. Okay, so that's my first name. I forgot that it's on here.
Oh, that's so funny. I did not know that. I'm like learning all the things about you. Okay. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kaley Gray, and I'm making weekly vlogs about life, faith, and relationships every Friday. And so, if you have not subscribed yet, please hit that red button below. I would love to connect with you as well as my other social media. I have all of those, my podcast, my Instagram, my Facebook. I would love to connect with you guys. And I'm so excited to be connecting with Tiffany Martin today. She is a sweet friend. She lives in Texas, and she has a podcast called Talk with Tiff. And let me tell y'all, like, her voice is so calming, and she just has so much wisdom. I honestly, Tiff, I listen to you when I feel like I can call you Tiff because I listen to Talk with Tiff, but I like will go on a walk and I'll just like listen to you, and I feel so inspired from it. But you're also, what I've learned from this podcast is you were a counselor for the past decade or more than a decade.
Yep. I was a counselor. Yep. I have a master's degree in counseling.
That's amazing. And you're also an amazing mother. You have 4 children, 4 beautiful children. Like, she is just like a rock star mom.
You're so sweet. Thank you so much. Yes, I am a mom of 4 little bitty kids. I have a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a little one who's 5 months. I've been married to my amazing husband for the last 9 years, and I have been a counselor for, about a decade. It's been a wild, fun, and crazy ride. Just learning about people and, learning personality and things like that. I got my bachelor's in psychology and wanted to find a way to help people. And so I went into counseling. My story is a little bit more complex than that, but that's the short and sweet version of it.
That is that's just so amazing. I love that. I love that you just have like a heart for people. And that's why I wanted you on my vlog, because I wanted all of my friends to meet you too and become friends with you. And today, like when I had asked you about like what like we should talk about for my viewers, you prayed about it, and you called it the time in between. And just go ahead and like just kick us off with it, because I'm so excited to talk about this.
This has really been heavy on my heart lately. I feel like it's because it's something that I struggle with and have struggled with in the past before, but really just understanding that there's time in between. In our society and in our culture today, we just want everything now, now, now. We have, we live in a microwave generation. We just have access to knowledge at our fingertips. If we want something, we can get it now. There's drive-throughs, there's, just streaming access. Exactly. There's cell phones. There's literally anything and everything you can think of. Even my children suffer with this. They want it now. And I think that we have lost the concept that there is time in between good things happening. When you think about farmers, they are very keen to the time in between, because they understand that you plant a seed, time passes by, and then there's harvest. So a lot of times, and in our society today, we see highlight reels from Instagram, and we see how this person is an overnight success. They were down in the dumps yesterday, and today they made it. Today they have 100,000 followers, or today they have 1 million followers. And we don't see that time in between. We don't see where they started 2 years ago, having 10 viewers on YouTube or 10 viewers on their podcast, working day in and day out, week in and week out, putting out content, putting in work for, not many views or not many, whatever it is that they're searching for. We don't see that. All we see is the overnight success that popped up on our feed. And now we're discouraged. Now we're depressed, or now we're looking for, our next best thing. Or we're in the moment now and we're like, oh, I can't wait till tomorrow. I can't wait till this day when I'm in this season. I know for me, when I was in college, I couldn't wait to graduate. before, I couldn't wait to have kids. I couldn't wait to do this. I couldn't wait to do that. I was so hungry for the next season that it was hard to understand and enjoy the time in between, to enjoy the process, because there is a process, and that process is what makes life beautiful. It makes it incredibly adventurous. That's where it all comes from. And if we're so focused on the end result, we'll miss that beauty. We'll miss the hidden treasures that are hidden in each and every single day that God has given to us. And we'll just be left on the other side when we finally reach that goal to say, oh, it's really not as great as I thought it would be. Where's the next thing? When's the next thing coming? We'll be so future focused and future minded instead of present minded. Yeah. And it's crazy because the present is named the present for a reason. It's a gift. Mm-hmm. This is the only thing truly promised. Our past is behind us. Our future is something that may or may not happen. Lord willing, it will, but we never know. Life is precious and it goes by in a flash. But the present is what we have, and it's what we've been given. And it's crazy because we were actually reading a devotional tonight. I was reading a devotional with the kids tonight before they went to bed. And in that, the title was Just Today. And I was like, Lord, I feel like this is more confirmation. But basically, God was saying, don't worry about your past mistakes. Don't worry about the future, because all of these things are going to rob you of the hidden treasures that I have put in today. You need to enjoy the time in between, So we have a starting point. And there's a process. Time has to go by. Patience has to have its perfect work. And as we go through that, we will be able to get to that end result. Oh.
And that, what? Are you laughing?
Knocking at the back door. I gotta let him in. I forgot to unlock the door.
Okay, so we are talking about process. You're saying process. Everybody, in life has to go through processes. We have that waiting stage, but it's so hard to hear that because nobody likes the in between. I think about when I babysit, I always the kids need to have patience, and I'm like, have patience, don't be in such a hurry. I think that's a song somewhere. I don't know where I even heard that, but that's something I'm always instilling into them about patience and stuff. But I have to have patience in my own life because of course, I'm the type of person, I would love to accelerate and just do whatever I can, but that's not always God's plan. But do you have any encouragement for anybody in that in between?
I absolutely do. And I'll say this because it's been true in my life in several different seasons. So one in particular was when we, a little bit before we had Elizabeth. So I don't know if you know this, but I had an ectopic pregnancy. And so for those of y'all who don't know what that is, it's where your baby does not make it to the uterus to start developing. They start developing outside of the uterus, typically in your fallopian tube. And because that part of your body is not designed to carry a baby to term, they start to deteriorate. And if you can't get the baby out in time, they have to remove, everything through surgery. So for me, I think I was about 7 weeks pregnant, and, we were super excited, but I started, having a lot of pain in my right side, and I didn't understand why. And literally the night before I go to the doctor, I have horrific pain. I'm literally on all fours. I am vomiting. I'm in tremendous pain, almost to where I really should have gone to the emergency room, but we didn't. We just waited to go to the doctor the next day. They took us in because of what I told them I was experiencing. And when we get there, we find out that there's no heartbeat because the baby's not where they're supposed to be. And I have to get surgery. So in that moment, I am discouraged. I feel total despair. I'm sad and angry all at the same time. Just all these different emotions are going through me. And my parents come up because it was my mom's birthday actually. And they come up after I have surgery. Never had surgery in my life, never really had to be put under. So all of that was a crazy whirlwind of experience. But they come up and they, start to encourage me. And they were like, hey, look, like, this is part of your story. This is something that, God has called you to walk through, not just for you, but for other people down the line, for you to be able to encourage others as they go through their process. And I'm like, in that moment, I'm like, why me? Like, what have I done? Why do I need to go through this process? But then after I like just kind of sit there and take it all in, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I will search the scriptures and see what I can find. And I start to read the Old Testament and I'm like, wow, this is how Hannah felt. This is why she cried out to God like that, and they thought she was drunk. This is why these women felt like this. This is where their heart was. Oh, I understand. I'm starting to understand now what that meant, God. Like, your word is really coming alive to me. It was just a story 5 years ago. It was just a story yesterday that I was reading in the Bible, but today it takes root in my heart. Today, I understand what these people went through and why they acted the way they act and how you as God came through for them. Okay, if you did it for them, I know you can do it for me. I'm going to go ahead and trust you now in this season and, see what it is you have for me. And I see now that over time, He's perfected different things in me. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. But that time has matured me. It's grown me. If I had some of the things I wanted when I wanted them right away, oh my gosh, I would have destroyed my blessing. If you think about it, okay, I'm going to break it down like this. I may have the money right now to buy my 6-year-old or my 4-year-old or my 2-year-old their dream car, right? Let's bring up my 4-year-old, for example, Michael. The boy loves race cars. He loves Hot Wheels. He loves monster. The boy just loves cars, anything with wheels, right? So we drove past like a Corvette and a Mustang and all these nice cars. He's like, oh, I love those race cars, Mom. That's what he calls them, real life race cars. So if I went ahead and bought my son a race car, he's 4, right? If I said, here you go, Michael, here's the keys to your amazing car. Go ahead and drive it. You're going to love it. It has this feature. It has that feature. It's already been paid for. This is your blessing because I love you. You're my child. Go ahead and take it. What would he realistically do to that vehicle?
Oh, it would probably be in the ditch somewhere.
And him along with it, right? I wouldn't see my kid again.
Yeah.
That's how it is with God for us. He loves us so much and he knows where we're at in this season. And he has so many good things for us on the other side, but he knows that there's time that needs to pass to perfect different things in us so that we can actually hang on to the blessings that he gives us.
So true. So
that we can actually enjoy them.
Yeah.
We're not ready right away for everything that God has for us. Mm-hmm. We would destroy what he's given us and ourselves and some of the people around us. If we had everything we wanted right away. There is a time that comes. It builds up our patience. It builds our character. It builds our integrity. It builds our skill set. There are certain things that we have to learn and grow from. Moses was called to lead the people of Egypt, the Israelites out of Egypt. But there was a process he had to go through out in the wilderness, out in Midian. He had to go away and spend that time. There is a time in between. And if we really take the time to see that we're in a kind of holding period and a waiting period, the best thing to do is to look around us and say, okay, I see I'm not in the place that I want to be. I want to get to that next level. I want to get to that next phase. And I can attest to it because I'm in it right now, I feel like. And I'm in it, I've always been in it, I feel like. I'm always in it. But then when I look back, I'm like, wow, okay. When I was single, I wanted to be married. And then when I got married, I was like, okay, this is cool, but now I want to have kids, Now that I have kids, I'm like, okay, this is cool, but now I want them to grow up a little bit. But it's like, okay, I'm never going to get that time back. Like, so how can I enjoy today? What is it about today that I can enjoy? Okay, my kids love me being near at bedtime. Let me try to enjoy this time, because they might not want that later on, or even if they do, it's going to be a different season and I won't get this time back. Like, there's different seasons to life that we really just have to say, okay, I'm going to trust you, God, that you're going to do what you said you're going to do. I'm going to hold on to your promises. And then in this time in between, I'm going to just take a deep breath and relax, because I don't need to stress. This is the present for a reason. Like, the present is called that just because it is. It's a gift. The past is gone, The future may or may not come. Lord willing, it will come, but we don't know if it's going to come. So the present is the only thing we truly have.
That's so good. I love that analogy.
There is seed that you plant. Then there's the time in between that it takes to grow it. And it has to get a good foundation. While that seed is growing, it has to die. Literally has to die for it to come alive again. So in that time in between, know that you're probably going to feel broken at times. You're going to feel, hurt. You might feel pain, but all of that is to rid you of the pieces of you that don't need to be there anymore for that next season, for that next level in life. So go ahead and embrace it, take a deep breath, say, God, you're going to do something good in my life, and I know you will. And, keep it moving, because he's got you. He is literally the creator of the universe, and he writes an amazing story. So you just have to hang on for the ride, because those rocky roads literally lead to the most beautiful destinations.
I love that. You just painted like so many beautiful analogies of like what, people go through in every single season, and just even like what you said, like the season you're in, you might be going through it to be a blessing to other people. And I know for me, like, I never thought I would still be single at 31. Like, I always thought I would be married with kids by now, but that's just not my story. And instead of having like a pity party about it, I'm like, I'm going to have a YouTube channel, and I'm going to be able to encourage people that are in their single season that it's okay and to have fun. And a scripture that like made me think of like what you were talking about was Luke 1:45. And it said, "Blessed is she who believed that there would be a fulfillment of what had been spoken to her by the Lord." And so you just have to believe like what God has like put in your heart and those desires. Like, you just have to believe that fulfillment is going to come, and you just have to live in the present. Like you said, it's a gift. And so if you don't live presently, like, you miss out on so much life.
You do. And honestly, you'll regret that in your next season. You get to the next season, you'll enjoy it if you can, if you've trained yourself to enjoy the season. And that's the beauty of it, is if you can train yourself to say, okay, I'm going to look at today, I'm going to look and see what I can do. I'm going to try and figure out what I can enjoy that I might not be able to enjoy when I get to that next season. When you are married, you can't do just whatever you want to do. You can't just pick up and go somewhere, like all the time,
all night, like.
Exactly. You have to consult somebody else. You have to, check in with somebody else. You have to be considerate of their feelings, of what they want to do. You got to work together. There's a lot that goes into marriage that you think, oh, I'm going to have the time of my life. Yeah, it's fun. But some days, it's work, and it's fun, and it's crazy, and it's exciting, but it's just totally a different season, and it's complex, and then when you have kids, it's totally different. You really cannot just get up and go and do whatever you want to do. You can't even take a nap sometimes when you have multiple children, because they won't all sync up and get on the same schedule. I literally tell people, please nap for me. Just think of me when you take a nap, because I need it.
I will nap for you tomorrow.
Please, just take however long, just take a nap and say, I'm doing this for Tiffany Martin because I know the girl needs a nap. But seriously, there are things that, we take for granted in each season because we're so ready for the next season. But if we could understand that, if we could just understand that that season is growing us, that season is teaching us something that we really need, that season is not just for us and it's not just happening to us, it's happening so that we can also share that with other people who are going to go through it. We're blazing a trail for everybody who's coming behind us, and we're going to have all of that wisdom and knowledge and experience to share with them, as long as we can learn to enjoy it and glean everything that we can glean from it so that we can pass it on to the people coming behind us.
That's so good. Wow. Thank you so much for this encouraging word of the time in between, because I know it's not like a fun topic that a lot of people like to share, but I think you just painted it so beautifully and just encouraged anybody who watches this video that to live presently, but know that there are going to be hardships, but like you're going to make it through.
Yeah. And seriously, when you're in that time in between, some of the best things that you can do are to, get a good support system around you, because you're not meant to live this life alone. So if you try to make it through those difficult seasons and those hardships by yourself, it is going to take you down. Like the enemy wants to come when we are secluded and alone. So if you have a hard time with any of this, seriously, call a friend, say, hey, look, I'm having a hard time in this season. Like, I don't know what to do. And, it needs to be somebody who's going to really lift you up. Like I said, for me, in one of those hardest times with the ectopic pregnancy, my parents literally encouraged me, and they were able to encourage me like that because my mom had miscarriages, she even had a stillbirth. Like, it's crazy. And she literally carries the same scars as me. She had to have the same type of surgery for a miscarriage. So just being able to have somebody else encourage you in that way is incredibly powerful, because after you throw your pity party, do it, kicks, cry, scream, do whatever you got to do. But you know what I'm saying? Don't give up in that time. You got to keep going. Like, seriously, with the time in between, the best thing about it is that if you keep, pushing and you stay consistent and faithful, you'll see that you'll make it through, like that. You don't have to stay stagnant, that it's gonna happen. What God has meant for you is gonna happen. It's not gonna pass you by. You just have to enjoy the time that he's given you, because he's hidden little treasures in each day for you. You just have to, open your eyes to see it. But get around a supportive group of people, take a break, relax, and don't take yourself too seriously. And I say all that because I'm really preaching to myself. I take myself too seriously a lot of times, but I really think it's important when we can just take some time and relax and really get that good support system around us to remind us that we're going to make it, and that we don't have to stress or worry about the future like that.
No, that's so good. Oh, well, thank you so much for being on the vlog. I'm going to put all of your links below so that you guys can connect with Tiffany, because she's just, as you can see, she is just amazing. And she just has that voice. Like, I'm just like, okay, what are you saying? I just like lean in. When you speak, I'm like, okay, what do you want? What are you going to tell me today? So I love it. So thank you so much. I know you're so busy, so thank you for taking time to be on the vlog. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you guys, and have a great Friday.